Hey everyone! A lot of people have been waiting for the first major update to Valheim, Hearth and Home. Well, it's finally dropped this weekend, and since I still get a lot of search traffic for my old Valheim tutorials, I wanted to go over some of my first impressions and offer some updates for those of you who might have been waiting to pull the trigger on this game. As I said in the recent early access review of the game in its previous state, you can expect a slow development time for this game. Iron Gate Studios seems to be growing, but it's still pretty small overall. From what I can tell, the main focuses of this content update surround the addition of a number of different building items, big changes to the food system, and some stamina balancing changes that really affect everything you do. The game is still very far from complete. There's still biomes needing to be fleshed out. This new update did add a few new resource items to the existing biomes, however, allowing for even more recipe combinations. I'm not going to spoil the new building items in this video, though most of those seem to surround the mid or late game as far as I can tell. What I want to talk about is the experience now for a brand new solo player in a new world. As it stands right now, Hearth and Home feels like 2 steps forward and 2 steps back. The new balance changes make the experience far more punishing. I don't believe that this is the expected experience a lot of players were looking for, and based on the immediate attempts to rebalance the game again after the content dropped, at least Iron Gate seems to be listening and attempting to adapt. Stamina is an incredibly central component to this game, and as it currently stands, it seems like everything you do just demolishes your stamina bar. Running, swimming, swinging an axe, combat. Without stamina, you just can't survive. It became generally more difficult to explore, or even harvest resources, which really are the 2 biggest draws to this game. Fighting a single enemy is more exhausting than before. Fighting a higher tier enemy is an exercise in patience. Unfortunately, I found myself having to rely on bad pathfinding in a lot of cases. By nerfing the bow, players are now more encouraged towards close range combat for damage, or forced to rely on the decent but more expensive damage of fire arrows. While I somewhat agree that things were a little on the forgiving side before, between the damage that bows could do and the extremely easy ability to parry even ranged attacks, I'm not saying tweaks weren't needed, but I found this stage of the game aggressively difficult. There are not enough options for defensive structures or strategic play. It seems like the food changes were likely the core of stamina changes, in an effort to balance things out as food options became more available. I do like how much more verbose the bonuses are with food. You can see how each type of food actually benefits you. Foods will typically lean more towards stamina or health. It gives a player who has a lot of different food options a great deal of customization as the game progresses. That said, a player without many food items is laughably weaker, either in terms of vitality or regeneration, or they don't have enough stamina to run, dodge, etc. Your survivability in Valheim is much more dependent now on foods that you've eaten, rather than the skills you've built, or even the equipment you've forged. Those things are still factors, but food has become more incredibly central. I did take a look at the building props and furnishings that were added to the game. There's definitely some cute and clever options now that didn't exist before. Without spoiling anything, I'll just say there's a number of new furnishings and a new type of wooden building material for props and shingled roofs, which is going to make a lot of builders very happy. I'm really looking forward to seeing what people create with these new items. What I'd really like to see would be additional cheap defense options for base building. Right now it just seems too easy to reach a point where there's really no safety. Your base does little more than just delay enemies. Campfires don't do much to keep significant mobs from heading right to your front door, and any chopping or mining you do is bound to spawn enemies that seem to head right towards you. Without legitimate options, I feel like the lack of these strategies are painting players into more of a corner. It starts to become very attractive to use more ridiculous strategies and take advantage of pathfinding. For anyone who may have been playing the wait-and-see game, while Valheim did go on sale for the content drop, it still doesn't feel yet like the right time to jump in if you haven't already. And it doesn't really feel like it's the best time for me to work myself back up to where I was before until things kind of settle down. I'm going to keep an eye on the patches I'm sure are going to be coming over the next few weeks and months. For those of you who already played will already know, this game was a serious time commitment before, and maybe even more so now from what I've seen. That's going to be it for now. Stay tuned if anything big happens. I still have a ton of hope this is going to end up being an amazing game. In the meantime, I hear that while they aren't officially supported, mod developers are hard at work retooling things to even further open up additional options for this game as well. If there's interest, maybe we can even take a look at some of those together. I appreciate your time with me today. Thanks for watching.